So, X-Men 97. It is done and over with. No more 10 episodes. Man, that was pretty fast. I feel like those 10
That was
episodes.
that was too damn
Oh, yeah.
fast, man.
Yeah, I feel
They
like
piled
these
a lot into 25-minute episodes.
Yeah. X-Men 97 is a continuation of the X-Men the animated series that came out in the 90s. Most of the large portion of the original voice cast did come back to voice the roles again many years later. Some people who didn't unfortunately have passed away. Or they kind of recast them in some other different roles here. Like for instance, like the original voice actress for Jubilee, they did recast her as an older Jubilee here in one of the
Mhm.
episodes here. So yeah, it's a continuation of the X-Men the animated series that came out. It is on Disney Plus right now. If people want to check it out, I didn't get a chance to watch the behind the scenes. They usually do like the assemble thing where they go kind of
Mhm.
behind the scenes. Did anybody see that?
I haven't seen it. No.
Okay,
I unfortunately did not. It's probably the only one I'll maybe watch
okay, yeah,
because
I'm
I am
interested
genuinely curious.
to see kind of a lot of behind the scenes stuff there of like the production of it because this is very good and a lot of it's gotten high praise 100% as far as the critic rating goes on Rotten
Mhm.
Tomatoes. We were just talking about Rotten Tomatoes there with another project. Not to say that's indicative of that it's good just because
No.
it's got
Sure,
100%,
it's Rotten Tomatoes.
but just to say that hey, a lot of people are messing with it, vibing with it. From the audience score, it's in the high 90s, I believe there. I think wonder if it is 97. It's 97 on the dot. That'd be pretty funny if it was. Yeah, so a lot of people are messing with it. A lot of people say that this is the best thing the MCU has done in a long time.
I agree with
Uh,
that sentiment.
this is one of the best Marvel animation things. This is better than even the X-Men the animated series. This is the best X-Men media outside of the comics, the movies, the video games, the other animated shows. So high praise is kind of being levied at this show here. Um, and yeah, I mean, so you're following the cast of X-Men here, where you're following kind of your main characters. You're following Wolverine, you're following Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, Rogue, Gambit, with a new position now. If you people remember the end of the X-Men animated series, Professor
Mhm.
X was presumed dead by the world, and now it's leading an opportunity for Magneto to come in and take over as the leader of the X-Men now. And you kind of get to see a little bit of their adventures together, and that kind of creates a new dynamic. A former enemy becomes now becomes a friend, a member of the team, and leader of the team. They're heading things up there. So I'm gonna pass it around, get you guys' thoughts. Nick, what are your thoughts on
Hmm.
X-Men 97 here?
So with X-Men 97, something that I absolutely adore from the original run of the series is that it was the kind of, and I said this in our trailer breakdown, it was kind of the perfect adaptation of a lot of the greatest of the Chris Claremont run of X-Men, where so many of the best stories, you got faithful renditions of stories like the Age of Apocalypse, like Days of Future Past, the Phoenix Saga, which to this day, this is X-Men the animated series, the only run to do that story justice. And with here, you get to follow along with all of these characters, get everyone a chance to have their moment in the spotlight, especially with characters who, whether it be by design or not, kind of got a little bit underserved throughout the Fox era of the movies and with a lot of the other animated shows. I know a lot of people are kind of criticizing this for how Wolverine is kind of sidelined as a character in this, and he Wolverine's fine. He's had like more than three separate movies
He's
where
had
he
30
was
years.
yeah, he's had 30 years in the spotlight. Let's give some respect to characters like Cyclops, who
And Storm.
thank God they made them cool. Characters like
Yeah.
Storm, characters like Rogue, who I am happy she got as much to do on the show as she did. Even exploring her dynamic with Magneto, her relationship with Remy, and with the first four episodes, I thought that okay, this is pretty cool. This is like a good throwback to those cartoons. Watching it on Saturday mornings with my bowl of cereal,
Mhm.
and then episode 5 happens.
Mm.
and it completely changes the dynamic of the show, and is the coming out party of, yeah, we're not here to fuck around, man.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was a very emotional episode, and that's being submitted for an Emmy. That episode, Remember It, is being submitted for an Emmy there.
We'll
Very,
win up
very,
my boy.
yeah.
Remember it.
And they are working on a season 2. So season 2, and a lot of the creative team of season 1 is coming to do season 2. So a lot of them
Goddamn better be.
are doing that there. Dusk, what are your thoughts on X-Men 97?
I said when we first reviewed it that I was shocked and terrified because I genuinely liked it. I was like, this worked. They did a good job. What is this? I'm not used to this. I was caught off guard and I was scared because what if they screw it up? And I'm going to be perfectly honest. For better or worse, they adhere to almost everything in the 80s and 90s comics. Every single Claremont run, every single arc that they did, they handle it. Even the stuff that people wish they didn't adapt. Specifically the Magneto and Rogues thing. Oh boy,
it's canon, weird, but canon.
It's weird in
but,
canon.
But they in canon it's weird, but in the show I feel like it does a good job of exploring why Rogue would even entertain this kind of dynamic.
Yeah. So to give a bit of backstory, Rogue, which they actually did in Evolution, they actually showed Rogue was actually part of the Brotherhood first, then converted later to X-Men. In the X-Men animated, she was just part of the team. But in the comics, she actually had a brief history with the Brotherhood beforehand, and then eventually went over to the X-Men, and then had some woes, so to speak. She had a lot of turmoil in her life, but she kind of flip-flopped back and forth, went to the Brotherhood, back to the Brotherhood for a while, then didn't like how the Brotherhood was going, and then left, and then eventually finally comes back to the X-Men and becomes a permanent staple with the X-Men and rekindles her relationship with Remy in the comics. That right now, that's not made necessarily possible, but hey, you know what? They've left some clues, but I think I've heard a lot of people complain about this show so far, or at least some people. The biggest complaints I've heard from people is it's too soap opera-y. It's too much love triangles as subplots. It's too many of this, and I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you. That's the X-Men.
Yeah,
I hate to break it to you.
It's not X-Men if it isn't a little soap opera-y.
Yeah,
and also it's not X-Men if it isn't hella horny.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If you've read any X-Men, mid 80s, early 80s to 90s, or read any of that, it's telenovela with action. It's basically what it is.
It is Days of Our Futures Past.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, that's crazy. But yes, it pretty much is. So, in honesty, in what the show has actually done, they've actually made some of the arcs work better than they did in the comics. They handled Madeline Pryor a bit better than the comics ever did. Madeline Pryor so far. They handled and like you said before, they actually explained better why Rogue would even entertain this. You start to kind of see it. Rogue's actions are still not great. My girl still did my boy dirty. Did Remy wrong.
She did some city girl shit.
She did. It's like really some
but the show doesn't really live in that world of black and white, because while she does entertain it, she realizes she made a mistake and would have made amends had she been given the opportunity.
Right.
But then Genosha happens.
Yes, correct. And that's the catalyst for everything that happens afterwards, and then you learn what happens.
Yeah, and that's something that works so well about this, because I think it was a little college lecture that Matt Stone and Trey Parker gave about like storytelling, about how they structure episodes of South Park. It is like you have like the different beats of your story, and if at any point you can put the words and then you're kind of fucked. And in this show, it's like it's perfectly carrying on, especially to with Rogue's character arc in this season. It's like she has this crisis between Magneto and Gambit, and she chooses Gambit, which breaks Remy's heart, which then Genosha happens and then basically fuels her character arc through the rest of the season.
Did you like how she punked Captain America?
I kind of liked it. It felt consistent with how
she's in
a
grief
lot of
mode.
yeah, she's in full-on grief mode, and I feel like this is introducing different elements because the show is set in the 90s, so we didn't quite get that Captain America Winter Soldier era where he is a little bit more, fuck the US government. He's
he's
gonna do the right thing. He is in Boy Scout mode.
He's in Boy Scout mode.
And I feel like with this and with the actions of the 3-part finale, Tolerance's Extinction, I feel like if we do see Captain America again, whether it be in this, whether it be in another spin-off set in this universe, I feel like we see Nomad at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe Nomad probably, but there is a hint near the end of the finale. The way he said certain lines, I'm like, all right, yeah, Cap's gonna get that. He's gonna change a bit from this whole situation.
Unless you don't now.
Got to do this by the book, Rogue. Right now, my hands are tied.
Well, if your hands are tied, you won't be needing this.
Go get it.
Fetch, bitch.
And to basically slow him down and to F off. And Cap's just like, now I gotta it's not I'm a super soldier.
He's not mad. It's like he can do it, but
it's
on,
inconvenient.
Man.
It's like she did some city girl shit where basically she took your coffee and then just spilled it and as she walked away. And it's like it's not like it's just a regular it's a regular tile floor. I can clean that up easily. It's inconvenient. Now I have to clean it up and put that away. You didn't have to do that. You're being petty. I love Kurt Wagner. I was happy to see the cameo with him.
Oh yeah, with Adrian Hoff, who is the voice of Kurt Wagner or Nightcrawler, who this show it really stands out with its dialogue. Even though character interaction does tend to get a little soap opera-y, there are some legitimate gems, and most of them are from Nightcrawler.
His conversation with Gambit on just marry Rogue is great. And he's like, oh no, I was like, I'm a sinner, and he's like, love is a sin, and he's just, it catches him completely off guard.
And he gets some of the most beautiful lines of dialogue in this entire run. Like the conversation he has with Rogue about grief, the conversation he has with Jean about the nature of memory, with the reintroduction of Cable in this show, with all the characters finally learning what exactly his relationship is to Cyclops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was also another great. I'm glad that they addressed it. They've done a lot of great combination of arcs, but also making it flow into the TV show. So it actually, you're not waiting a super long time between some of these while adding it, letting Nathan. They hinted that in the animated show, but there wasn't really much they could really do to kind of yet. With this, it's open. Cyclops wants to be a father. He keeps getting screwed by things. He wants to be in his kid's life, but Cable's Cable. I mean, he still is infected by by the techno virus, and it's only because he has technokinesis that he's able to basically put a stopper on it.
Yeah, he's a telekinetic that is as strong as Jean Grey, but it's kind of similar with the Wolverine's healing factor. Is that 99% of the time it's spent dealing with the virus.
Yeah. If that wasn't in him, if he was ever cured of it, he would be easily Omega level threat, even more so than he already is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the show works on a lot of levels when it comes to the characters, when it comes to the writing. We'll see, I guess, in season 2. So a lot of big thing also coming about, some controversy there heading into this season, was Beau DeMayo. Beau DeMayo, who did write, he wrote basically all these episodes, the majority of these episodes he did write, except for a few. And he was the showrunner of this. He got let go before we get to the end of season 1 here.
Yeah, he was fired from the show before it aired.
Yeah, 2 weeks before the red carpet. 2 weeks I think the day before the red carpet run.
Yeah. And then he did speak about it, so he kind of there was allegations about him being abusive, so he did shut
Mm.
down his social media for a bit. Then he came back. So he did come back, and now he's doing more stuff promoting X-Men 97, doing some, watch-alongs with the
Mhm.
people there with the episode. So he did do something on his Twitter here. So this is IGN reporting on it. It says X-Men 97 showrunner and executive producer Bo DeMayo, who was just fired ahead of the series premiere on Disney Plus on March 20th, has clarified his involvement with season 2. In a tweet responding to questions from fans following the season 1 finale, DeMayo said that while he wrote a lot of season 2, he will not be heavily involved in the production of it. I did write a lot of season 2, DeMayo said. However, unlike season 1, I will not be heavily involved or leading production, cast records, design, editorial posts, music, etc., nor doing any production rewrites as it
Mm.
reevaluates to the creative vision of the show, as it relates to the creative vision of the show.
Yeah.
DeMayo continued and said, "This is why I said I can't really speak to season 2, but looking forward to seeing the final product with you all whenever it airs. I have high hopes."
Me too, sir. You have my interest and now my attention.
Had my curiosity.
Today.
Now you
Now
have
you have my
my
attention.
Yeah.
No, for
it-
real. This was good. I was shocked.
This was so damn good. And just aside from talking about the writing and how fantastic it is
And the
how
character
much
dialogue.
the writing, the character dialogue, the story beats that you get, the action in this, it fucking rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little wary on the animation, but honestly, when it gets in fluid, I was kind of saying early on, I think it will look better in motion than it does sometimes standing still.
Lo and behold,
As time went on, it's the style eventually you get used to it, and it really does fit more with it does well when they're just sitting there. It feels like a comic book panel. But then in motion, the fluidity of their movement, it does lend itself very well. So
a lot of people complained about the animation when they first saw the trailer. They said it looked
Yeah.
like Archer. They said it's kind of stiff.
Yeah.
And then it happened, and then they got real quiet.
I mean, Ali Crow. I admit
just the fucking the scene in episode 8 with Wolverine Nightcrawler versus the Prime Sentinels, dude.
Yeah.
And just even during
And, dialogue.
And the dialogue.
Yeah.
Dialogue. It's like I got 6 reasons why. It's no, mein Freund, 9, which works on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll love to see it. I was
Yeah.
happy with all the cameos too. We all
it felt like this is how you do cameos. This is, these are characters that are doing their own thing in the world while these events are happening. And it's cool to see, characters actually, getting out involved in the world, trying to help do what they can. Except these 2 little fucking bootlickers over here just chilling out in a bunker.
Well, they have to protect the president. They're like level Avengers. I totally get why you want them to action, but it's a plot hole thing of that was in a lot of the 80s. I was shocked with the Cloak and Dagger.
That's in a lot of comics.
But yeah, the cameos, Cloak and Dagger, like who knows about Cloak and Dagger besides the show that lasted 1 season and nobody watched? Daredevil, Psylocke.
Danny DeVito's down here again.
Yeah, Danny DeVito.
He's the trash man.
Yeah, again, so yeah, I mean, and this is how you, like I said, this is how you do cameos. I mean, showing them in this, of course, New York, because every fucking superhero in Marvel is in New York practically. So they're gonna be there.
And they even showed Mary Jane and Spider-Man in like a quick
and confirmed that because the end of the Spider-Man show ends on a cliffhanger of him going through the different dimensions to find Mary Jane. And
he was with Madam Web, right?
Yeah, he was with Madam Web. That was the series finale.
Yeah,
I thought there was something after it, but
Dakota Johnson, Madam Web, he was with her.
I guess. I guess. It all worked out.
What was Peter Parker doing in the Amazon?
He was looking for spiders to research to cure.
Yeah, so Peter Parker, Mary Jane here.
Like
none of them.
Bruh, world's on fire. What are you doing? Get to work.
We didn't see any of these cameos, these characters interact with the X-Men, like how they did in the X-Men the animated series show there, but we did get to see them just kind of in the city.
To be fair to X-Men animated, a lot of those cameos were within the other people's shows. Like
Mhm.
X-Men showed up briefly for like one episode on Spider-Man, and he had a good bout between them, and he and Hank really like had great dialogue between them because they're both nerds, they're both science people, and
Yeah,
so they were able to talk shop.
Yeah, even when Spider-Man did Secret Wars, they had
Mhm.
the whole Fantastic Four, Iron Man. They had Storm brought into it.
In one of the memories, I think one of the characters, Ghost Rider, is like in one of the characters' memories in the original X-Men animated. Deadpool showed up as like something that Morg transformed into.
Yeah.
So,
How did
but
you?
yeah, there's been other shows. Go ahead.
Because Morph does do a lot in his transformation, so it's his power set is way different than what we saw in X-Men
Oh,
the
yeah.
animated. So they do a trade-off. So when he turns into a lot of the different characters, like he can't stay at those characters forever. It seems like that.
That's his
sort of-
balance.
So
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd be broken.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like and they say it's like he can only take on if their abilities are physical. So he can't like turn into Charles Xavier and have the telepathy.
Oh well, Kenny. Well, when he wasn't Quicksilver, and then he ran. He did have super speed though, when he was Quicksilver. Didn't
Yeah, but that's a physical power.
Basically, from what I've seen, it's he copies the lowest level his body can copy that ability, and he burns out real quick. Like it's I can do this, I can do Blob, and I can do the Blob thing from episode 1. But once he saves Wolverine, he has like 5 seconds of Blob power, 5 to 10 seconds. And
yeah, and even he turns into the Hulk at one point, but that's only very briefly.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. That was a cool cameo too, as him being the Hulk. That was cool.
Yeah. Hulk, Magic, Quicksilver,
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, we saw that a minute there. So yeah, he turns in Juggernaut. He's Juggernaut there.
Hey, he's the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah.
And this the Hulk one, as we see there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. You mentioned Nick. People were kind of maybe disappointed with Wolverine getting sidelined, but like I said, he's been in tons of stuff, tons of media as the star, as the leader. It's always been kind of mostly Wolverine and the X-Men.
Besides, he'll get his time.
Yeah, especially with where he ends up in this 3-part finale, because he stabs Magneto and
hey, it's the first time he stabs something that's been a person in this show.
Yeah,
everything else has been robots.
Yeah, and Magneto took that a little personally.
He did. Yeah. Unfortunately for Magneto, taking out the metal in his body is probably the worst thing Magneto could do, because then now it's just Wolverine with super incredible healing factor and bone claws.
So yeah, it actually does make him kind of stronger there. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the characters, they do a great job in writing a lot of these characters. Do you feel like any character did get short shrift there, get the short end of the stick? Some people were saying maybe Storm, maybe the little Bishop.
I like Storm a lot.
I like Storm's arc in this show. If anybody kind of got the short end of the stick, I would say maybe Sunspot, because he kind of fills that role that Jubilee did in the original run of the show. And I feel like his turning point, his like full on turnaround on the X-Men, it felt like a lot of it happened off screen.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. So much is going on. You do feel like that aspect of it was kind of to be on the cutting room floor, where it was it's just implied that he joined up. All right, he's hanging out with Jubilee. I also give credit to this. I'm glad to see that Jubilee has evolved as a character in the show as well, and she has finally taken up the mantle of the not only helping another newbie, but now she's in a sophomore position, almost junior position, where she there's a moment when they're fighting in the final battle.
She is throwing hands with Bastion.
Exactly, and it was good to honestly see it's good to see her. She's not walking no more. It's you always love to see characters and mentorships, and they get better, and eventually they get to a level they need to be. And how do you guys feel about the finale as a whole?
Yeah. I think very, very strong episode. Before I want to ask also, talk about the finale there. Mentioned Jubilee. Did you think? And I like this episode. I didn't hate this episode, but did you think the Jubilee episode was maybe the weakest episode of the season?
It's hard to say because I'd say maybe just on a very very it's kind of weird to say that any one of these episodes is like the weakest of the season, because even though episode 4, which is Jubilee's episode, that is the most disconnected from the main narrative, I feel like it because the B story in that is between Forge and Storm. So it's like hard to say that you can't really cut that episode out.
It felt like there was nowhere else to put it because everything ratchets up post 5. There's no other time for it to ever be in there.
It felt like kind of that calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, the calm before the storm that is episode 5.
Honestly,
it's like continuing to kind of lull us into this like false sense of security of, this is the 90s cartoon brought back.
Yes, I will say that the first 4 episodes feel like, also I love the poster in the background, great reference to Days of Future Past. They also do that in the finale as well, and that's the great arcade game as a whole. It felt like a kind of a one last calm before the storm. We're all just having fun. It's fun being a superhero, and even though things are bad, we're kind of bonding and we're building up these characters. While Storm is rekindling, finding a passion for somebody, and trying to restore her own power and having her own drama as well. I do think I would have liked to see one more Storm, a little bit more Storm. I do think she gets like a little too, but I'm hoping we'll get more of that. Everyone's going to be kind of split off by the finality. I think they're going to have to really be careful on how they drop feed characterizations a bit. But yeah, if we're going to go by the weakest of the entirety, I probably would say 4 is probably the weakest. But that's like the weakest nut in a steel girder.
Yeah, I would say 6, but it gave us the gem of a line of calling Earth a Milky Way ghetto. So I can't really.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad they did reference the whole alien race that took Professor X. That's the very end. Most people probably forgot about that, but it's
I forgot about it, and I just rewatched the 92 show.
Yeah, it's like the tail end. Hey, he'll go with us, maybe whatever. Not only does he go with Professor X is a pimp. Not only does he go up there to get saved, but he's like, I'm gonna marry the woman that helped me, and he's like, she's the queen. You're like, God damn, Professor.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, when they go to kind of the space stuff, Professor X, the Shi'ar Empire, that was, I thought, really good. Yeah, for me, I would say maybe 4 is the weakest there. I think, I mean, maybe this is a cliche answer, but I think 5 is pretty much Remember It. I think that's a really great episode. I mean, what happens there in that episode is really fantastic. Is that the best episode for everyone else? What would you say is your favorite, or what do you think is the best episode here?
For me, it is either 5 or it is 8. It is like the beginning of the Prime Sentinels war on humanity, and the biggest like what the fuck of Magneto shutting down Earth, which is setting up the last 2 parts of it, setting off this little schism within the X-Men.
Yeah, Magneto can't help being Magneto.
It's like, hey, he told them in episode 2. It's like
he gave him a warning.
I am trying to walk the path of my friend.
Yeah.
Do not make me let you down.
Yes, that was a great turn of phrase. Don't make me disappoint him. So yeah, I'd have to agree. 5 was really strong. 8 really felt like it was okay. We're now kicking in. This is another solid footing to then go into the last 2. I don't know. I liked episode 9 a lot, especially the where it ended in the battle and pursuit.
Episode 9, I would say it is fantastic, mostly because because in the movies we're kind of remember Charles Xavier as this, ultra altruistic, basically Mr. Rogers can do no wrong type of
Episode
figure.
4 of the original series had him made Magneto relive the Holocaust.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Episode 4 of season 1. It became before this even came out. JJ did a whole meme of bang Holocaust. Save it for a rainy day.
I forgot about that.
I think
He will try his best, even when it's someone that is evil, wicked. He will try to appeal to their humanity, their decency, and he'll do everything he can to do it. But sometimes
I just love how none of the X-Men were having any of his shit this
no,
episode 9.
It was completely justified.
They were done.
They were completely justified. It was so good, honestly, to see that, and he took it in stride. Like he's like, no, you're right, you're absolutely right. But oh yeah, no,
your fate.
Mama, Papa.
No, don't make me see. Xavier, I can't. Stop it. Stop it.
No, Magneto. You will stop.
God damn.
To be fair, Magneto literally drew them out into the middle of a chemical factory, like blinded Rogue, knocked out. Like Scott is like exhort fumes. He can't do anything, and then I forget the other character as well. And he knocks Xavier out of his chair. And he's like, well, I wanted you to join me. I guess he'll kill you, old friend. And he's just like, Holocaust beam. Don't think so. I don't think so. I was trying. And he does it. Even by episode 9, by 10. Even by 10. He makes a virtual in his mind place. Magneto, this is your last chance to just not do what you're going to do. And Magneto's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, okay, memory wipe, onslaught.
I mean, I can't wait to see it. I want to see this adapted. How he just gets pushed down a flight of stairs. I want to. That's what I want to see.
He was mind controlled by Mr. Sinister.
Yeah. Who's pushing him down the stairs? Who is this? I don't even know.
I think that's meant to be Logan.
Oh, okay. Is that Logan? Okay.
The funny thing is, Mr. Sinister is such a petty little bitch and everything. He's like this super evil guy, but he's such like a mincing coward.
That he's he's basically a bully. It's the second you stand up to him and he wilts. It was like he had the funniest moment in the final episode. It was like, show me my face.
And you know Morph's gonna be used that every time now. Of course. He's gonna abuse that because that's what he lives for. Yeah, no. Hey, Mr. Sinister, real quick. Maybe don't piss off. Make sure if a woman has the Phoenix power to maybe make sure they're dead before threatening to kill their son. You might want to do that. The Phoenix Force didn't just disappear forever.
Yeah. I mean, is that kind of her son, or is that
that is like? I mean, it's a clone of her, which is biologically, mentally, spiritually. You could argue. Yeah, you could argue basically Jean Grey might as well treats her as her blood son.
And to quote Kurt Wagner in an earlier episode, it's like, doesn't matter if you remember how. Doesn't matter if you remember how it felt to hear his cries.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and Madeline Pryor, who started a whole new life, went to Genosha. It was the one that ended up also dying when that whole terrorist attack happened there with the Sentinels. And remember it. Yeah, I mean that was a really sad moment, especially Cable, who's been. I mean, he said that he's been trying to save that moment for 200 plus times. He's been trying.
Yeah, it's like he initially responds as like he enough to give up, and then he's forced to say it's like 200 times.
Yeah. But But for people who say that, hey, they were worried about the sexiness in this show, I mean, they played that in spades with Madeline Pryor when she
Oh
had
yeah,
that
it's the
outfit
Goblin Queen.
as the Goblin Queen. I mean, geez, I mean that outfit was something there, and also Storm as well. When Storm was in her
Oh yeah.
outfit there, they had that kind of going. So that was
It's also interesting. I don't know if it's a little detail. Oh, Nick went away somehow.
yeah. He just I think his internet just went out there for a second. He'll be
Yeah,
back though.
it's a little detail, but I don't know if you noticed. Madeline Pryor couldn't use the Phoenix Force, but Jean Grey could.
Mm,
It's a
yeah.
little detail. It's a little detail I noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed. I just told this to Josh, but I noticed that Jean Grey could use the Phoenix Force, but Madeline Pryor did not have access to it. And
Yeah.
that was like she's the clone.
That's a good point. So did you already kind of know that kind of
Well, I mean,
beginning?
I knew the arc because I read way when I was a youngin. I had read that, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Mm. Yeah. I felt like with the Madeline Pryor, it was a little rushed to how they kind of did that. I
Oh
think
boy,
that
you should see the comics. How little they handle.
Oh,
it
the
out.
comic. Yeah, the comic. I mean, it's like, the comics are basically soap operas. It's like, what's more soap opera-y than an evil twin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we talk about some of the villains. So Magneto starts off as a friend, and then a lot of them are fighting. Of course, your traditional, the Friends of Humanity. Some of the politicians, you're kind of angry.
Oh yeah, the Hunter dude.
Some Sentinels.
Sentinels. What was that character's name? The Friends of
Executioner.
The Executioner.
the Executioner. Yeah. The
You always whine.
Who if you didn't get that the humanity's kind of like hatred of mutants was an allegory for racism or sexism, homophobia, anybody that is different,
Basically the outcast.
they spell it out explicitly in here.
Oh yeah.
Pay for their crime.
Yeah, and this is when Magneto, so he's been on trial for his crimes, and then if it wasn't for them, basically doing a January 6th, they probably would have.
Oh yeah, they would have put his ass in jail.
They would have 100% found him guilty.
Yeah, they would have put him in jail there. They do have that.
Hurt my friends? Well, now you answer to me.
Humanity answers to no one.
My glasses. I can't see anything without my glasses.
You act like you got it so bad.
And the fact that he's like not opening, he's purposely not blowing in the smithereens.
Yeah, when he could.
See? It's the
Yeah.
whining.
And they do a really good job. People also praise the fact that it's concussion blast and not just like they treat it more as lasers.
Yeah, it's like he gets like the coolest superhero landing I've ever seen.
Yeah, he just beams it to the ground.
Just
Kinda
cool as a cucumber.
It echoed what they did in Evolution with him and his brother Havoc.
Mm.
After they went into the chamber to get older and control their powers, they did the same thing, just blasted the ground, stop their landing.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the people who were behind the show really are fans of this. Fans of everything that comes with X-Men. When it comes to the video games, when it comes to the comics, there's video game references in here. Of course, they're following the arcs from the comics. Even anime. I think you can see some anime influences in here as well.
Oh, there's a lot.
And man, he's just not even worried. He's just falling out the sky.
Yeah, he's chill.
Got it covered, man.
You know what I mean? Hey, just
He was
be
worried
on the
about
ground.
everyone else.
I got it. I got this. I mean, yeah, it made Cyclops cool, man. I mean, a lot of people love fucking with Cyclops now. I made him really cool for a lot of people who,
I'm happy to see it.
got cucked in the.
Oh my god! In the movie, he
movies,
was
it was
nothing
bad.
in the movies.
Yeah,
he was basically a blank slate a character in the Fox movies, which is a disservice considering they cast James Marsden.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
To me, my X-Men.
Oh, that's the right guy.
Ooh.
You think to me, my X-Men is better than Avengers Assemble? Or
They're both iconic in their own way.
What about you, Nick? You more of an Avengers Assemble guy?
Same. Hearing it, just out of context, having not watched the original X-Men animated series in, a while until 97 came closer to premiering. I thought it was a little corny, but in context and hearing it in the show is like, nah, this shit is it slaps.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any weak spots for you all for this show there?
That I would literally call them nitpicks.
Not enough episodes there.
Yes, correct.
Not enough. Give me
For
more.
For once, I'm like, more?
Yeah.
More. Yes.
I think-
more.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Yeah, each episode like it varies, but with the original X-Men animated series, so you had
If
like
they gave me
13
2 more episodes, just 2.
yeah.
Just two, man. Come on.
More. Come on, I need it.
The first couple of seasons of X-Men the animated series had 13, the first couple, and then they went
Mm.
to like 19 and 21. They had a
I'm
lot.
honestly shocked they were able to get as many episodes in there, but it picked up. It was super popular.
Yeah.
The animation got worse as time went on, though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm seeing
Like,
that right now.
so bad.
Yeah, you had the Friends of Humanity Executioner, then it moves on to Magneto becomes a villain, and then we get the kind of the big bad at the end, Bastion at the end. Really great villain, I thought. A lot of great
Oh,
villains.
Nimrod.
fantastic, and a excellent voice performance from Theo James.
Yeah, he does a good job of playing both a cold, calculating person, and he should be more like machine-like, but because of his own anger and hubris, he gets over on him too much. And that's ultimately what defeats him. He's overconfident. He's certain in things, and he's unwilling to change or alter himself.
Yeah. But I mean, you learn his backstory. I mean, the self-hating mutant that he is.
Oh yeah, he's very much so. I mean, unfortunately, I can't blame him. He's super powerful.
Yeah, and his desire to, basically take out all the mutants, and I mean, much like also Magneto, very distrusting in humanity and hates humanity too, all that well. But he, also just has no love for mutants.
Also, he's was conceived of a time traveling Sentinel AI.
Yeah, and literally through genetics, manipulating his father in genetics to make a living biological
techno-organic Sentinel.
Yeah, he's
That's
like,
the
well, that's
word.
how we're gonna win.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that went wrong was the fact that his mom tried to get him to Xavier but didn't trust him enough to open the door. And that's a big thing where you can tell there's a lot of animosity with him, like not being accepted by the X-Men. It's like, Xavier would have took you in, man. Would have tried.
And then I think somebody said that his mother was the waitress from the X-Men the animated series episode, the one that discriminated against Wolverine and Storm there in that episode. So it's a throwback to that. Man, this is a wonderful show. I mean, it works on a lot of levels there. The writing of it, I think, is really great. The way they handle these storylines is really good. Character work is really good. I mean, some of the stuff, like you said, I mean, hey, it's a big ensemble show. Maybe somebody's always gonna get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
You could have had a little more Bishop Storm. I think could have been.
I think we're gonna get a lot more Bishop season 2.
Yeah, the way they kind of set that up, and then at the end of season 2, so all the X-Men are in different places in time. Some are in the future, some are in the far past. With Apocalypse, Abin Sur,
Pre-crazy Abin Sur.
Yeah, and Saban Nur.
And someone Nur.
You have that, and then Gambit is possibly going to be coming back as one of the
Gambit
Horsemen.
as the new Horseman of Death for Apocalypse and present timeline.
Yeah, so yeah, probably you're right, Dust. We are probably going to get a lot more Bishop Forge. We're going to get a lot more of him there in that squad trying to
Which
go.
I'm happy to see. I like Bishop.
Probably Cable too. He's going to probably.
Oh yeah, a lot more of the time shenanigans. They're gonna have a lot more people basically telling other people, "Shut up! You're in my speciality now.
Yeah.
Shut up and do what I say."
And then that whole thing of like, yeah, the X-Men have been dead. Like, how many times we got this? I mean,
Yeah, this is what the X-Men are dead. This is just another Tuesday.
Yeah,
we kind of got this, so you do have that. Final thoughts, ratings. I'm gonna go around. Dusk. Final thoughts, rating for X-Men '97.
I can't not. It's been a long time since I want to say Infinity War, where I felt, wow, this was someone clearly put a lot of thought and effort into this. They knew their comic, they knew their history, they knew their work. They were trying to cater to an audience, and they executed it well. It's been a long time since I felt that. long time, even maybe slightly before that, where I was so excited to see what they were going to do next. And it's great to have that feeling again, even if briefly, even if this is a flash in the pan. I will be thankful for this. It was nice to see it again, and rekindled my love of why I liked X-Men even as a youngin. There's something about these characters that really does like make them so well loved and beloved. And I mean, I just can't give this anything more than peak. This is a fantastic show. This is by far the best thing the Disney Plus has done. And I'm giving none of that credit to Disney Plus. I'm giving all the credit to the story writers, to the voice actors, to the storyboard guys, to the animators. I'm giving it all to them. Disney doesn't. Disney gave them money, but they didn't do nothing else.
Nice. So, high peak from Dust for X-Men 97.
Damn right.
What about you,
Hawk? Yeah, I was excited for the show coming back, but basically from jump, when the updated version of the theme from the Newton brothers, who they're two composers, they work a lot with Mike Flanagan. They've done stuff for Follow the House of Usher, Midnight Club, Midnight Mass, and they beautifully update the theme to the X-Men animated series. The animation in this is gorgeous. The writing is some of the best in modern comic book television. The action, everything about this, it's just absolutely peak. I was like, I adore this show. This is probably one of my favorite animated series of the last couple years. It's one of my favorite things that Marvel has done post Endgame.
Wow, high peak from Nick as well. Yeah, I mean, there's not enough praise about this show. Like I said, fabulous on a lot of levels here. What they kind of do, how they adapted. I mean, this was highly anticipated coming out of kind of what they did here. Because hey, everybody really X-Men the animated series is much beloved. In television there, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I have to see how this ends. But right now, for me, I think it is better maybe than the X-Men the animated series. I think they handle a lot of things better here. Some of the animation with the X-Men hasn't aged too well, but yeah, what they do here is really great of how they're able to kind of continue that and work in that universe again, this '90s kind of Marvel universe there that you want to see expanded. People now want the Spider-Man continuation of Spider-Man, the animated series from the '90s. People want to see with Iron Man and Captain America, all these
Avengers TV show.
Yeah, people want to see that. This is on the kind of universe separate away from the MCU. What they do with the storyline here are really great. There, the messaging of the movie of the show is fantastic. Of how they kind of handled that is very brilliantly done. I'll see. I mean, we'll see. What happens with Bo DeMeo. He's writing the episodes, but let's see. He doesn't have that much of an involvement in season 2 as far as the production goes and all that stuff. So let's see how that's going to turn out in season 2. Really, whether or not he really was one of the big kind of things making this really great, we'll see. I hope it still continues to be very great. I'm gonna give it This Is Cinema. I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna watch it again when I'm off here. Rewatch it the season again, and also seeing the behind the scenes of this, the assemble part of it. Well, I'm also gonna watch that. I mean, like I said, some of the stuff nitpick. Yeah, he could have maybe done a little bit of more stuff with Storm or Bishop or some of those characters. But I still think it is great and it's perfect there. And I think it just blew me away and blew a lot of people away of how fantastic it is on level. So Dusk and Nick give it. They're the haters, the friends of humanity. I'm the ally of mutants, and I'm going to give it. This is cinema here.
Yeah, we were like one shot just below where you are. Congratulations.
Hey,
man, the fact that we're all in agreement for a Disney Plus show that we all loved, that's a miracle.
Yeah. I mean, I know people have always said like every time every new Marvel project comes out, Nick said this is the best thing since Endgame. Everybody always says this is the best thing since Endgame.
Yeah,
but no, this truly is. Maybe
this time I mean it.
This is truly probably one of the best things they've done there since Endgame.
I've helped see along with you guys everything the MCU has done. Disney Plus shows. This is by far the best thing they've done since Endgame.
Yeah.
No, so if you don't want to believe it from Nick, believe it from me.
So yeah. So 2 high peaks and This Is Cinema for X-Men 97.